Boom, coming in hot, Chinch, with the Lambooski in the house.
Oh my God. If you have not signed up for our YouTube page, this is the final straw. Look at these two guys. They're like Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker.
I need some stuff my sneakers a little bit.
We're like twins. We're like twins.
Boo, you're honestly actually taller than I thought. Than you look on the
I know I'm a little wider in the picture, so I don't look as tall. I get
How
it.
tall are you?
I'm about 6 foot, man. I got some strong high tops on right now.
Yeah,
so
but also if you don't watch and you just listen, Boo's hair think about it, is it probably about 2.5 inches high, I would say. So you're about 6'3" with hair. It's like you ever see Fletch?
It's like Fletch.
6'4" with that afro.
6'9" with the afro.
Yeah.
Love some Fletch.
Shoot, I'm gonna sit back a little. What's going on here? You guys are in the same house. Let's go.
I called Lambooski. I'm like, come on over. We'll just do the show at my house instead of you having that background you get up there all the time, that tired background.
I gotta tell you, Chinch, this background's a hell of a lot nicer than mine, man. I'm seeing some stuff I haven't been in here in a while, dude. We got Jordan. We got wrestling championship belts. I mean, guitars from Pearl Jam. It's crazy over here, Chinch.
God, you got to see everybody. You got to go to our YouTube page. It's like the Rat Pack. It's like they're sharing this one mic, and the way it stands, it looks like you guys are about to start crooning together. So let's get into some football. Let's go. What do we got?
Well, dude, you should see Boo's notes. Can I hold them up, please?
Yeah, sure.
It's incredible. I swear, dude, Chinch, it's literally like a book. Look, can you look at these things?
Yes.
And he's got 38 pages.
Oh my God!
It's like he wrote a
your
book.
handwriting is like
that's
cipher.
why he dominates every week, and you can't even read his handwriting. It looks like
a doctor's handwriting. You're not supposed to read it. I have to give away my secret. I have to kill you.
It's like a first grader wrote it.
Wait, so I was thinking about this today when because Boo this morning was like, "Hey, I'm ready whenever you guys are. I got my notes." Like when you're at work at this job that we don't tell anybody that you do,
right?
Is that where you're doing your research? Is that what's going on?
Well, I do my research everywhere, Chinch.
Are you kidding me? 24/7, all this guy thinks about is fantasy. He wakes up at 3 a.m. to take a piss. Next thing you know, he can't get back to bed for 7 hours. He's thinking about who's going to pick up, drop, add, drop, waiver, call somebody, 18 leagues.
Yeah. And Chinch, that's the reason why you're 20-2 right now. Ooh. The best record in the league. And I don't want to jinx myself, but got some pretty good matchups this week. I just want to stay healthy, man. That's the biggest thing, right? The guys I got that running out there are healthy. At the end of the year, we'll show you some, actual footage of what happened. But in the other league, we're actually storming right now. So there could be a chance for some boxes of ZDs in both leagues here.
Okay? That's what we need. That's what we need.
So let's recap it, Boo. Let's recap.
Let's go. What do we got?
Was it week 10?
Oh, man, that's good. It's week 12, but don't worry about it, okay?
Week 12, baby.
It's November. Let's go. First of all, happy Thanksgiving to you boys. I know that, it's after the fact, but the bottom line is it's my favorite holiday. It's always been. I love hosting people. I got the case man and the kids running in and out. We're frying the turkeys, doing our thing. And I talk about the F's. And I'm not talking about the F's on report cards, boys. I'm talking about the F's for friends, family, football, and food. Okay.
Well done. Well done.
I did not make the last game, gentlemen, because I could not take it anymore. All right. I actually passed out. Too much to drink, too much to eat. I never made it to the end of that Vikings Pats game, but I know it was a good game and a good finish.
Which that's unlike you.
I know. That's what I mean. I'm like, that I'm not feeling why I overdid it because I'm not watching any football game the entirety of it.
Chinch, a couple years ago, bro, things are changing though, because Boo would come over, swear to God. I told you the story. He'd come over about 11 o'clock on a Sunday, get the fire going outside, real nice. And then he would, we get home from mass, we'd be like, hey, Uncle Boo's here. Hey, he's been here since 10. Right? And then, dude, Chinch, he would stay for the 1 o'clock games, the 4 o'clock games, and then 8:30 on NBC. He would get home at midnight. His wife was like, hey, she was already sleeping in the spirit world.
You ain't lying.
Boo's been watching football for 14 hours at my house.
Oh, it was the best setup too. Outside, got the porch, got the fire going, dude, the big TV, outdoor TV. What more do you want, Chinch? Where would you rather watch a game?
Oh, that's wonderful. All right, beautiful.
So again, some of the observations this week, quickly. On that Thanksgiving Day game, we had 3 pretty good games, which is always entertaining. You started off with Detroit and Buffalo, and you almost thought Detroit was going to take that game at one point, and then Josh Allen comes out, and he's Josh Allen, and then forget about it, your dreams are destroyed. But much like we were saying, Case, because you weren't with us the last episode, but no, I'll catch you up. Dan Campbell, his seat's gotten a little cooler because Detroit's starting to really play. And, you play the Buffalo Bills like that to the end at home where everybody, knows the Lions are playing, but for years we didn't quite get the best product. You're going to start getting a product, I think, from here on out that people are going to want to tune into on Thanksgiving. And again, they had chances to win a game. The one throw in the corner, if Chark comes down with that, could be game over. So they're right where they need to be. I'm happy for Detroit. The next game are your Giants, man, and the Cowboys. And for a while, the Giants were game. They were tough. They got no wide receivers. They're decimated. Saquon's getting the ball. They kind of were shutting him down for the most part, but they were figuring it out. Those division games are always tough until, a little bit of the home crowd and Dallas figured it out in the second half, wound up winning the game. And then, of course, the night game, I did watch the beginning of it. I knew it was just going to be a pretty good game because I was like, wow, Mac Jones is coming out and throwing the ball on the Vikings, which, he didn't do that well the week before versus the Jets. So it was good for him as a bounce back game. And again, a long return, and that was the difference in the game. So, good day of Thanksgiving, friends, football, the whole 9 yards. I love it.
I love it too. Yeah. Oh man. By the way, I'm not the biggest gambling man ever, but I'm on a little bit of a roll now that I have this other gig, and I got a lot of inside info. I took the Giants big, and I won because they covered in that horrible end of game touchdown. I'll just say this real quick. I took the Chiefs big, and they also covered by 1 point. It looked like they were going to blow that game on Sunday, but looks like Uncle Chinchy's getting some Christmas money stashed away working with his work.
Looks like the nieces and nephews will be happy when Uncle Chinchy comes rolling around Christmas time.
Yeah, you're not getting a remote control car that's stuck to the thing that you got to chase after. They're going to get the remote control cars that can go like 100 feet past.
We always love those.
Keep going. Sorry.
So listen, the other observation that I really had to talk about was the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, I knew that game versus Tennessee was going to be tough. Remember, they played in the first round, I think last year, or the second round, because Tennessee was the number 1 seed. And Cincinnati went in there and kind of won a similar game, man. They shut down Derrick Henry. And again, when I say shut him down, his rushing yards, he did have those 2 receptions that put him over 100 yards. So for fantasy, Derrick is Derrick. But for a game plan for a team to stop them, you have to stop him. All right. And Tannehill, he was okay in the game. So it's like one of those games where nobody lost that game. Cincinnati won that game. And Joe Burrow is the reason. People think he's cocky. People think he's this. Like, Joe Burrow's a winner. Like, he took the hard road. He left school. He found another place. He won a national championship. He's coming at you. He's in the Super Bowl in his 2nd or 3rd year after a major knee surgery. Joe Burrow's got some it factor to him. So when that guy's on the field, you just got to feel like you got a chance. And if you haven't looked at it, they've routed off 7 in a row, I think, from being 0-2 or 6 or 7 in a row. They're 7-3 or something like that right now. And Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, this guy does not get enough credit for the things he does and the halftime adjustments that he makes. I'm telling you, there are so many games where I'm like, wow, Cincinnati's going to lose this game. Nope, they're shutting the other team down in the second. Whether it been Kansas City last year, it doesn't matter. They just find a way, and that has to do with your defensive coordinator and the adjustments that you're making at halftime. Players have to still play, but I'm really impressed with Cincinnati as a whole. They're kind of like creeping. Nobody's really talking about them, and we forget that they represented the AFC in the Super Bowl last year, and they're figuring it out. Okay.
Yeah.
And the player's gonna play. You gotta get ready for this one, shit. We're just gonna start to turn it up right now, bro.
I'm gonna keep going.
Third observation this week, and I love this guy. So, in the infamous words of one of your 3013 members and one of my favorite coaches of all time, Mr. Bill Parcells, let's not break out the anointing oil just yet. Okay. And I'm talking about you, Mr. Mike White. Unbelievable performance from this guy, right? But last year, he had a exact similar type of trajectory last year when he came in, nothing to lose, bing, bing, bing. Oh, and then the Bills came in, and 4 interception game later, he was back on the pine. So let's just wait till he sees, let's see him do it versus a better team. He's playing the Chicago Bears this past week. We don't have to tell you, without Justin Fields, Trevor Siemian at quarterback, they weren't exactly moving the ball well. So everything's set up for the Jets to have success in that game. He took it. He ran with it. Good for him. I like to see it versus a better defense before I start believing in him or, picking him up and making him your starter. So that's
don't forget, a lot of interceptions last year when he played.
Well, that's the thing is he didn't have it early, but then all of a sudden they came in droves the last 2 games and he was gone because they had to see what Zach Wilson had.
I think he's waiting. I think it's one of those things where you're waiting. Okay, I learned failures feedback. I learned a lot from what happened last year. I got benched.
Yeah.
I'm finally getting another shot, and I bet you he takes the ball and runs with it.
Yeah,
No pun
interesting
intended.
decision at the end of the year. If he keeps playing, and let's just say they go far in the playoffs, he has no contract. So you're going to either have to sign him or get rid of him because the other guy you just drafted last year. Crazy shit. Anyway.
And you know, those situations, Kate, I couldn't agree with you more. It's such a fine line in football because, you know, obviously when you take a guy high, you invest that type of money in him. You want to give him every chance you get. It's clear that Mike White plays better football than Zach Wilson as a whole. But who's Mike White? What kind of money does he have? I think what's important about football is that it just doesn't matter at the end of the day. You need a quarterback to win. So I don't care where that guy comes from. Pull him out of the stands, off the street, or draft him. You need a quarterback to be able to win games in this league. And Zach Wilson so far just hasn't been it. And Mike White has shined at times. So let's see what he has coming down. And they still leave it open. Salah leaves it open. Well, you know, Zach, you know, he's just going to sit back and watch now. Let's be honest. Like, we've all watched him enough. Like, it's got to happen now or never. All right.
You're good at this shit, Boo. Keep going. You're really good at
Yeah.
this.
So again, the last couple Nuggets, the Jacksonville Jaguars beating Baltimore. Like I said
Tracy
earlier this
Lords
year,
with a big throw at the end.
his name is Trevor, but Tracy will do
we
too.
know Tracy
Okay,
Lords.
we'll
Trevor's a
take
country
him.
singer. Trevor's a country singer.
Yes. So
Wait,
Trevor
Tracy
Lawrence,
Lords is somebody totally different, by the way.
my man. You
Adult
know?
stuff.
So yeah, you gotta like what you see out of Jacksonville because you kind of like they're playing a little bit better football, and you kind of thought in the beginning of the year after early season win, and then they went back to the Jaguars again. But man, there's a lot of talent on that team, man. There's a lot coming at you offensively. Plenty of talent drafted on defense. So you're just hoping that they will turn the corner. A big win versus Baltimore in your backyard, coming off a bye. I told you, man, that's a sneaky team a little bit. So don't want to play them coming down the pike here because they got nothing to lose. So and you know basically Tampa Bay, like you go in. I talked about it last week. Man, they're figuring it out. Tampa Bay, Tom, he's throwing touchdowns again. Everything's going to be fine. Now you go to Cleveland, get punched in the mouth again. David Njoku with an unbelievable one-handed catch, fourth down play to win the game, and you go out of there with a L. You know, so now back to Tampa. They're still in first place in that division. Got a Monday night game versus New Orleans.
It's terrible.
It's terrible, but guess what? You know, you're late in the season and you got a terrible team and you're like, we still got a shot for the playoffs. There's excitement in your locker room. There's reasons for guys to show up and really be, you know, do the job. So I'm excited to see what happens there. So that's it kind of with the observations this week. You know, a lot more, even last night. I know I don't usually add in that Monday night game unless something really comes out to me. Chinch, that last 2 minutes, I'm sorry, people have talk about it today. I just don't understand it. I don't understand how you don't just take that first time out with a minute left and just go. You finally got a first down. Yards were so hard to come by.
Steelers, right?
Cold Steelers game on Monday night. And they were having trouble moving the ball all year. So Ryan gives you a nice 20-yard run or whatever it was. Just call the timeout. You got 30. It was first in like 20 or whatever because they had a penalty. And he runs 3 yards, call a timeout. They try to rush. First of all, they don't snap the ball till 30 seconds left. You still have 35 yards to go, and it was taking you all game to get 35 yards, you know?
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So I don't know. I didn't understand that. And I know that he defended himself today, Saturday, but I think that's a lot to do with you just haven't been there. You're a damn good player.
Right.
But there's a lot that goes into coaching, and you're figuring that out now.
Yeah, right back to Casey's point. You know, experience, man. That's what it's all about. You don't have it. You don't have it. You can't have experience without having experience. Like,
yeah, you can't teach experience, bro. That's at the end of the day.
Well, he said it right. It's learning. You know what I mean? Like,
Boo, what about the waiver wire?
All right, let's get into the waiver wire right now. And we always start off with the quarterback. Keith's he's doing your job right now.
I love you guys. No, I love you. No.
He's doing your job. He's got food to cook. He's got stuff going on. All right, all right, I'm off track today. This is too much for me. I love this. I love this. You know what I mean? I got my boy here. I got Chinch here. I got my microphone. I'm standing up so I can move around. Listen, waivers, quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence. Listen, he's probably as a backup on certain teams, but I did notice on ESPN a couple of different leagues he's out there. Obviously, at this point, he shouldn't be. Scoop him up. A lot to play for at the end of the year here, getting better, trying to improve so they can, come back next year and really be a factor. So he's definitely a guy that I like right now. So if he's out there, scoop him up. The other quarterback is the aforementioned Mike White. Like, okay, Mike, you do it this week versus a better opponent in Minnesota, down in Minnesota. All right, man, I'm in on you. You might actually be fantasy startable. Because if you look at certain guys, like even though I like Tom more, I see that, that Cleveland game, and I just don't see the continuity and things that I'm always used to seeing from him. Although he's thrown 2 touchdowns the last 2 weeks. So that being said, that's really the only quarterbacks that I'm looking at right now that you can actually turn around and think about grabbing this late in the season. Otherwise you got your quarterbacks on your team, you're riding with them. It's nuts and bolts of the season. The other guy that you have to consider is Deshaun Watson. I hate to even mention the guy's name because of, everything that's transpired. But the fact of the matter is, when he's on his A game and he's playing his best football, he's a machine. He's a fantasy stud. The only problem that you have, the last time he did play real football, he looked terrible. The preseason, he looked bad, and he hasn't played football in a very long time, Case. That's not the greatest recipe to come in and just go face Kevin Brown, think you're going to hit his slider when you haven't seen any.
Well, it's such a rhythm thing. It's such a rhythm. Pro sports are a rhythm game. You get out of that rhythm for whatever. He's been on 11 weeks or whatever, right? Yep. That's a long time to be sitting on the sidelines. All of a sudden, you get back, and that NFL game goes quick.
11 weeks. He was suspended last. When did he go down? When did he not play last year? Did he not play all of last year? Was it just issue? I'm drawing a blank, but I thought it was a lot of.
He's been gone a long time.
Yeah, he's been gone. Whatever. He's been gone, and he's had a lot of other shit.
You're the guy with the 33rd team and all the damn stats. Help us out.
I haven't had to go that deep into it. It's just like the guy definitely hasn't played in over a year. Let's go that.
Yes.
We got it. That's our stat for the day.
Moving on to our running backs.
He hasn't played in a really long time.
He hasn't played in a very long time. That's what I said. That's what I said, right?
Yeah, you got it.
So, booby trap.
Booty trap.
It's a booby trap. Anyway,
it's a booty trap.
Running backs. The first guy that comes to my mind this week is JaMychal Hasty. Now, Travis Etienne went out with an ankle injury early in that game last week, and JaMychal Hasty came out and he had some really good receptions, okay? And he ran the ball hard. And again, as a starting running back this late in the season, if you can brag somebody off waivers and have him start for you, that's gold right now. You know what I mean? Not only that, but Travis Etienne did say he was coming out and he was going to play this week. So you got to pay attention to that. But you can't waste time. This is why we do the waivers we do and we produce the show, because you got to grab him. You got to get ahead of it. So you have somebody on Sunday and you can play those mixes and matches on your teams. That's vital to winning weeks and winning championships. All right. The next guys up are from the New York Jets backfield. Your boy Michael Carter went out, right? You're seeing this, right?
Yeah, I see it. You're seeing it. Keep going. Let's go.
Michael Carter went out. Right?
Casey,
so you had Ty Johnson and you had Zonovan Knight come in. Now Knight got the carries and the targets, more share of it, but Ty Johnson actually looked good on that run touchdown run. So kind of see which one of those guys are out there and maybe make a play for one of those guys. All right?
Yep.
The other situation that I want to talk about is out in San Francisco. Elijah Mitchell done again with a knee injury. Unbelievable. This guy can't stay healthy. So obviously there's CMC and he could take the full load, but they don't want to do that to him. I think they're thinking longevity with him. So you got the kid Mason that came in. Okay. Jordan Mason, I think his name is, and he ran really hard to close that game. But here's an interesting situation because they got another kid, Travis Pierce something. I forgot his name, but I know it's a Travis.
Okay.
When certain guys aren't activated during the week, it's because they don't play special teams, but they do play running back very well. I'm intrigued to see who the backup this week for this reason. Again, Mason probably plays some special teams, so he gets to be elevated to the real game squad that week, all right, the active roster. Whereas Travis, he's like a backup true running back, maybe doesn't do as well in special teams, so they deactivate him. Well, a week like this week where Elijah Mitchell is definitely going to be out and you want to carry that same number of running backs, Travis is now activated. So he might wind up being the backup this week, even though if you looked at last week's game, oh man, Mason's definitely going to be backup. Chinch. This thing right here is like 10 miles ahead. All right.
Deep.
You got to know those things, so it's important. So kind of take a look at
when
that.
You started playing guitar,
right?
but you're back on track. Let's go. Yeah.
Moving to the wide receiver position. All right. We talked about Mr. Zay Jones earlier, pairing up with Mr. Trevor Lawrence, all right? And knowing that my man Zay Jones, 24 targets over the last 2 weeks, all right? He's been a target monster these last couple of weeks, passes the eye test, and oh, by the way, game on the line, 2-point conversion. Whose number did they call? Zay Jones. They called Zay Jones' number, and guess what? He came through, and it wasn't an easy, it was a hard, sprint out, leave the D back. That ball had to be right here in his fingertips. He put it right there for him. So, yeah, Zay Jones, stop laughing, Chich. All right, at him. All right, I don't need any of this.
I'm laughing because Casey had a 50-50 chance of getting that right, and he picked the right guy.
Thank God I was listening.
Marvin or Zay. Just don't say Christian Kirkcather, and you'll be fine, okay?
Beautiful. Keep going.
It's so true, all right? Could be a fantasy league winner, though, Zay Jones, as you pick him up and he still gets that type of target share. Hey, you never know, right? Okay, we already discussed Treylon Burks, but his arrow is pointing up. Did you see the hustle play where Henry fumbled and he was there?
Yes.
I mean, coaches they go bananas for that. You're a wide receiver. What are you even doing there? You'd be probably getting in Derrick Henry's way, but no, you're hustling behind, trying to catch a block. He fumbles at the 3. You land on it in the end zone. It's a touchdown. Could have been a difference in the game. So hustle plays, his ability as at one-on-one. We talked about the whole design of Tennessee and how they like to do it. Traylon Burks is definitely pointing up. All right. And the other guy that I will talk about is, and I can't believe I'm talking about him, but it's Deshaun Jackson. I've been burnt by this guy so many times, Case. We've been burnt by him, but I have to mention his name because when I saw the play that he caught, the 50-something yarder during the game and then another 20-yarder, he just gets chunk plays and they look like he's always wide open. He got behind the defense and it was easy. Again, I know what's going to happen. I pick him up. He plays the first friggin' route he runs, he blows a calf, he's done for the game. I know it. I know it. He's done it to me many times, but he is that type of dude that could really help you out. All right. Tight end position. All right. Foster Moreau, he's been out there. People kind of like pass him over. 3 catches, 33 yards, a touchdown this past week. And again, Derek Carr likes his tight ends. Yes. And again, you could do a lot worse. They're ascending a little bit as a team. So Foster Moreau, if he's out there, pick him up. The defense that I like this week are the Packers and the Seahawks. And they play the Bears and the Rams respectively. And those offenses right now, without Justin Fields, without Matthew Stafford, they're playing like a wide receiver over there out in LA for a quarterback. You just like that as a defense, unless, in case you have like a defense going up, you got the Vikings or somebody they're going up against Buffalo,
Great question. That brings up a super quick question for me. I have the Jets defense. They're playing the Vikings. Should I sit him and go get a different defense?
The reason why I would say no is because sometimes Kirk Cousins just has those Kirk Cousins days where if you could put pressure on the quarterback, he'll give you a couple. He also can go for 300, which we've seen. So I don't really think, I would go after one of those if I had the Jets. I think I might still play the Jets. But again, it's a decision you can make,
Love it. Beautiful.
All right, boys, that's it for the waiver wire, right?
All right.
So now we're going to get an Case step away, gets at least 6 feet away for this next segment.
Dude, this could be dangerous. I've never seen Forget About It in person.
All right, gentlemen, you know what it's time for, right? Let me grab this microphone, Case. Get out of here. Right? You can get hurt. All right. So check. No, this is a little one to begin with. You don't need to be far away. All right. This is our segment. Forget about it. All right. And we start off with a couple guys. He's got the hickory. He's got the hickory. All right. It's getting real. All right. First up, let's go, boys. First up this week is our friend Curtis Samuel over in Washington. Hey, Curtis, they have you down in fantasy as a wide receiver, right? Well, then why the hell didn't you catch any balls this past week? Okay, listen. You are a wide receiver, correct? He had a couple rushes for like 13 yards, like 4 rushes. That don't have 1.3 yards. Forget about it. I mean, that's not going to do it out of your wide receiver. You got to forget about it. And the guy was so good for a while, but now it's just going in the opposite direction. So I don't even know. You just might have to forget about the whole thing. All right. So here we go. Next up is a running back down in Houston. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Damian Pierce. Hey, Damian, you had a hell of a season. Let me tell you right now, you've had a whale of a season. Everybody's in love with you. I mean, 20-point games back to back to back. Everything was great. And all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. Houston, we have a problem, okay? And it's Damian Pierce right now. The last 2 weeks, terrible performances. Let me get this. 5 carries for 8 yards? What? Forget about it. You got to forget about it. You can't dwell over this. He's a starting running back. You've had him all year. You got to at least play him next week. I don't know what you could do, but I mean, listen, he sprinkled in 3 receptions for another 8 yards, but 4 points out of a starting running back. Are you kidding me? And he's not hurt. You're like, oh man, he must have left the game with an ankle. No. He stunk. You got to forget about it. All right. Get rid of it. All right. Okay. All right. Now listen, our last dud up this week is a guy that I gave props to last week as a waiver wire picker, Mr. Juwan Johnson. Juwan, you scored 5 touchdowns in the last 5 weeks. You had double-digit points 4 weeks in a row, okay? You're going out playing San Francisco. Andy Dalton loves to throw to his tight end. 2 targets, no receptions. Forget about it, Juwan. You're killing me, okay? Listen, Juwan, I can't talk you up and then have you put up this type of game. It's ridiculous. I need at least one catch. Get me out of the donut and the bagel, the everything bagel. Do something for me, all right? We got dogs here, all right? We got my girl here, all right? Macy's here. All right.
She's sniffing your,
People, listen, let's get off those duds. Let's get off those duds. Let's get on to some studs, all right? Chinch, you with me on this one? Casey, you with me? All right, listen. My first stud up this week, it brings me to tears, guys, because you know that there's one person in this room and out there as a prognosticator, as an expert, who has been on Josh Jacobs in this room? Okay. Because nobody else was on him. He was done. Josh McDaniels, they drafted White, this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, no, this guy plays the game and he cares. And when you do that, you win me over. I put you on my team on lineup. So you know what, Josh? You know what you did, Josh? You did 33 carries, 229 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But wait, Case, wait. You want to sprinkle in a little something on top? How about 6 receptions for 74 yards? That's 300 total yards. Forget about it, Chinch. Forget about it. That is a... Dude, in our league, that's 60-something points in our league because the 84-yard touchdown in overtime is a bonus, okay? 300 yards is a bonus. We got so many bonuses for our league. Case, he scored 63 points. 63 points. We got...
What's going on? Are there people just standing and staring?
Beautiful women. We got dogs. We got it all. Come on in. This is forget about it. This is your section, all right?
We got dogs.
Next up this week.
Keep going.
Who do we talk about this week? Mr. Chris Godwin. Oh, it's been a while, Chris. You've been playing football this year. I know you have, but you've just been very mediocre. 6 for 76, 5 for 80. You know what? You know what you did this week, Chris? You went 12 receptions for 110 yards and a touchdown. Forget about it, Mr. Godwin. We love you. Listen, I needed it from him. So, you know, we talked about him earlier this year, Church. He hasn't hurt you, but he hasn't been that wide receiver one that you were hoping for when you drafted him in the 4th or 5th round and said, man, this guy can really deliver wide receiver one numbers. Hey, it's November. This is when it matters. If he does it right now through your playoffs, you can forget about it, baby. Yeah. All right. All right. And last but definitely not least in this segment, we go to a little Sunday Night Philly special, and I'm looking at you, Miles Sanders. Yeah, baby. Again, listen, Miles, when they want to, when they run the ball and they stay committed, he goes over 100 yards, man. He scores a touchdown. It's kind of like whatever Philly wants to do, they're going to do to you. They want to show off Jalen Hurts. He does some running. He does some throwing. Mr. Brown, okay, he's a machine out there. Let me get some Devontae Smith. But today it's about you, Miles. Okay, Case, get with me, baby. Let me tell you these numbers. 21 carries, 143 yards, and 2 touchdowns. When you need it most, when you're sitting back Sunday night after a long day, you can forget about it, Miles. I need you. All right? And that's it for this week. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's go. All right, that's it.
Oh, my God, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Bada boom at the end.
It's one of the greatest segments of sports that no one knows about.
No one knows about.
Only John Entz. John Entz is your biggest fan.
We need John Entz. Let's go, John. Make some calls. Call Tony. Call everybody you
Make
can.
sure John gives you a
Get Lambooski on the Get Lambooski on the air. Let's go.
I'm working on it, man. I'm doing my best. I don't think it's gonna happen this year, but maybe next year.
Don't worry about it, man. We're having a lot of fun.
Forget about it, Chinch.
Well, then you can tell Tony to forget about it, all right?
Hey, Chinch, you're telling me you can't get Lambooski on the air? The 33rd team? Well, you can't forget about it.
What the fuck's going on? First of all, you're gonna get me fired.
Second
of all, you have a whole family.
How
many people are watching this in there?
Here's Sarah. Come on in, Sarah.
There's a whole audience.
Sarah and the dog.
Like
Here, come on, Carly.
Carly,
come.
Sarah.
Sarah.
Where's Carly?
Carly's not coming on there. No way. We can't get Carly out of there. We got Macy
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday, Carly.
Yeah, it was Carly's 17th birthday yesterday. Let's go.
Nice.
All right, man. That was incredible.
I don't even know what to do with myself right now. There's no way to close that out. Other than you guys have to maybe start doing this every week in the same room. That was like,
hey, if he invites me over, I'm coming, man. This is nice. On my feet, get to move around.
I know. Do you feel the energy? Don't you feel the energy?
Big, yeah.
The energy's different on your feet, Chinch. You got to start getting on your feet.
Sitting down.
I'll get on my feet. The energy's different in that room right now. You guys are like stepbrothers, like in the movie Step Brothers when you're together. It's unbelievable.
It's the mayor's office, man. It's a t-shirt.
Oh, my God.
Beautiful, guys. I can be happier about this. Plus, by the way, this makes my edit 9,000 times easier, so I don't have to put us in 3 boxes.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, that's right. Come on over, bro. Let's go. Let's go.
And then Macy gets in. There you go, Mace.
Oh, there's Mace. There's Mace right there.
Yeah. All right.
I think she's got to drop a bomb. That's why.
So far today, in Casey's hands, we've had a guitar, we've had a bat, we had his lady, okay, the dog. All right.
Nice.
I mean, what, are you gonna cook now?
What a show! What a show! What a show to
All right.
have that.
Good job, fellas. Let's do.